Good morning, Burbs. My name is Azlara, and let's talk about Retem. And this is probably going to be like my, fourth take of actually doing this video because, I had a lot of jumbled thoughts and I kind of really want to make a short video instead of just rambling for like 40 minutes. So they kind of sound a bit more rambly in this one as well. Please bear with me. Also, by the way, before it gets shouted at in the comments for like, oh my god, RC, it's pronounced Retem, not Retem. I'm just following the Japanese pronunciation, so if you don't like it, I apologize for that. Anyways, let's just get all that out the way, and I'll just say this much. I do not think that the current state of the game, as of this time of recording, is very healthy at all. I don't think any of the major issues that were present at the very beginning launch of the game 6 months ago is solved at all with the release of Retem. We still have the same old gameplay, which we're not going to get any new photon arts and stuff like that until May, in which, yeah, we got the 3 new techniques, but what about all the other people who don't play tech casting classes? There's literally nothing new to play with, except, well, a whole slew of new enemies in the entire region. And of course there's some new skills on the skill trees, but that doesn't really change too much when there's still so much restriction on main class subclass stuff. Moving on from the gameplay side, let's talk about a bit of the endgame. Yes, you can still run around and farm the battle areas and stuff, which now you have relic weapons, which I suppose for some people is a legitimate reason and excuse for you to play the game, but here's the thing. Realistically, for just about all of us, right, we're not going to be sitting here and trying to compete for the fastest cocoon clearing time attack times or like going in hard to try to solo battle Dia and everything like that. It's like, if there's one thing about relic weapons for all of us is we all just want to get a relic drop so we can sell it on the market and get like 20 million Meseta or something. And I think that's just about every person's incentive for it. For the people who are looking to buy relic weapons to, try to compete at the highest level with like time attacks on the cocoons and the battle dias and everything, all I'm going to ask is this. Would you rather have the money to buy fashion that would last 6 years? Or would you rather have a weapon that would literally last not even 6 months? Because by the time the next update comes, all these weapons are just going to be completely irrelevant anyways, because we're going to get a higher rarity and stuff like that. But a weapon of a high rarity might even come sooner, because I believe the roadmap, we're getting level 40 by around February, and then we're also getting level 45 just before the next update, which will up it to level 60. My point is, I don't see a reason to really just min-max because there's no real exactly super difficult content that really requires it. And before you say, but RC, there's the purple battle Dia and stuff. Well, please remember that we're going to be stuck in Retem until basically June, and by that point we're going to be level 45 with probably new gear that even outclasses the relic, and then the battle Dia is going to be pretty easy content from there on out. And for people who already have been able to clear the purple battle Dia, well, getting relic is maybe going to help you clear it a little bit faster, but if you can already clear it, then a clear is a clear, right? But even then, that's not even the biggest problem about the purple battle Dia being the quote-unquote endgame content. It's literally the fact that you can't even farm it or play it consistently because the cost, aka the purple triggers, is just much harder to come by. And if you want to farm Gigantics, you kind of just have to sit and wait until a storm comes, and that's just it's just not a good system. You can't just get on and play whenever you want to play because everything is just like, oh, you gotta wait till this RNG specific time to play the game. Apparently I'm not allowed to play the content, huh? Yeah, that's not good design in my opinion. Some people may find it pretty interesting, having it more like surprising or suspenseful, be like, oh my god, it's suddenly a storm, let's go and stuff, but after a while, when that's like the only content you're really able to farm because it's the only thing relevant left in the game, it's not healthy. It's really not. But well, at least I guess triggers are kind of like a step in the right direction. We just need it to be a little more accessible, So aside from these two things, the only thing that is really relevant for endgame players is new events. And I say new with a very like air quotes new because every single seasonal event we have so far is just literally just copy paste. Wow, there's this event where we have enemies that are weak to ice and we get ice weapons. There's this event where we have enemies that are weak to thunder. Wow, we get thunder weapons, etc, etc, etc. And sure, it's pretty interesting for the first time, especially if you're playing a tech caster class, because you kind of have to change the dynamics of everything you do. But the gameplay is literally just about exactly the same if you're not playing technique classes, because you're just going to do the same thing over and over and over again anyways, unless you really want to spend that money on some weapons that are very, very specific, and you know, you could just be using that money to buy fashion anyways. And then now they're also trying a new event, which is the World Trials. And when we were watching PSO2 Station, sorry, I'm so used to saying PSO2 Station. I mean, NG's headline last night, okay? We were chatting with around like 200, 300 of you live here. And it's like, I asked everyone, did we enjoy the World Trial event? And I think I saw about only 4 people said they enjoyed it. And then everyone else is just like, nah, I don't like it that much. Which I personally agree, because I don't think the World Trial events are fun. But guess what? In the NG's headline, they're like, yeah, we just released this event and it's still ongoing right now. And we're, you know, like we're going to reskin the event already. And it's just like, maybe you should wait for a little bit and ask for player feedback how they feel about the event before trying to rerun it, and maybe even try to improve the event or something like that. But we will leave that for the future. That being said, once again, as I said at the very beginning, I think the game has a really, really good foundation, and there's a lot of unmet potential, in which, of course, I did predict it that PSO2 NGS is probably going to be really good come like 2 or 3 years after launch, so we're only, you know, a quarter of the way there. And it's really, really good to see that they're addressing a lot of these player concerns and issues on stream. And they did say that this is how we're proposing that we're going to look at content moving forwards. Which means that they are listening to the feedback now and seeing what the players want, which is a very healthy thing. However, that is also one big issue in and of its own. And this is where I personally am going to ask all of you as a community to help share your opinions in the comments below, and or just voice it out in social media or public space or like anything. But I think this is very, very important. On the NG's headline last night, they talked about how people are complaining that there's not much content to do and they're out of things to do. And so the devs team responded with, what we're going to do is increase the class level cap every few months, release content and enemies in new difficulty levels, and add new titles and tasks. And I'm going to stay silent here for a little bit, because the implications of that is basically SEGA saying, yeah, so like we're not going to add new content to the game, but we're just going to make the level cap higher, so you have to grind more to get higher level for some reason and fight the same enemies anyways. And totally adding just a bigger health pool to this specific enemy and say it's a new difficulty is totally new content. But from just what it seems in the headline, I think they're pretty confident that like, yeah, this is going to be what people love to do. They want to grind more. But that doesn't solve anything. And that in itself is the literal biggest issue. The fact that they're trying to fix things at the wrong places. And I think increasing the level cap every few months is probably one of the worst things you could do, honestly. First, it incentivizes grinding on a game that isn't really friendly to grinding. And if you don't hard grind to get those levels, you're not going to be able to do some of the actual like real content that's going to be in the game later on. A lot of you might have experienced that leveling from 20 to level 35 is pretty chill, because you have all these client orders, or well, tasks as they call it, in Retem, right? But try doing the same thing without any of the NPC tasks. You're basically boned and you have to grind all of that. And you have to think about the case where, you know, if you have to do this up until like level 45 and beyond, when there's no actual content that's worth playing that will actually just help you level up without being super tedious and tell you to literally just grind PSE bursts for like 4 hours a day for 2 months. I generally don't think that is healthy for the game long term, and I don't think this direction is a very, very good one. I understand that upping the level caps can still incentivize some people to say like, oh man, I have to grind now. And it might be a really good reason to do the grind, but long term, it's just gonna bloat the level cap, and it's just not gonna be fun anymore for anyone who plays the game later on and just has to play hardcore catch up. So if anyone from the PSO2 team is actually listening to this video, and I'm so sorry for the 10-minute ramble by the way, but please reconsider this option. I don't believe there's a single person in the entire ecosystem of PSO2 that wants the game to do badly, because we all are still playing the game even though it's not in the best state right now, and all of us just wants the game to do well, and that's why we're giving our feedback and everything. And that being said, right, with the whole video now being 10 minutes long, I'm not trying to bash on the game or anything of the sort, but I'm just saying how I feel as a player, and I'm not talking about this in a content creator perspective either, or I'm not sugarcoating anything for the sake of it, right? Because I personally consider myself a player first before a content creator, and I don't want any of you to just oh man, let's agree with RC because he's a content creator and we should listen to what he says because he's always correct or something like that. Never. And I'm not going to force my opinion on anyone, and I'm not going to force anyone to agree with me either, because we don't need to agree or like the same things to, be friends. If you think I'm completely wrong and really like the content that I put out so far, that's great. Let's have a nice discussion in the comment section, because I would love to know your perspective on why you like the content so far, or if you have any ideas on why you don't like the content and how they can improve the game, let's discuss it in the content, and maybe we can bring it up to the PSO2 team in the form of another improvement video, or just give them some feedback or something like that. There's just so many ways that we as a community can help make the game grow and just make the game a better game. It all begins with the communication between the players and the devs. And we have to voice our concerns, voice our opinions in a civilized manner, in which the officials can actually use the constructive criticism to actually make the game better, rather than just being man, the game sucks, there's no content, the game's buggy, there's blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. We heard it all. Just remember that all the devs, all the community managers, everyone is still human as well. And I don't think anyone would love to just wake up and be man, your game sucks, man, this sucks, man, that sucks, I'm not playing the game, I'm quitting, I'm yada yada yada. Rather than, just waking up and being there's so many comments here, let's see what they say. And just be excited to read the comments, be excited to see the ideas, and go present the idea to the devs and all that. So, yeah. I don't think I covered everything about Retem in this video, but regardless, I think that should be about where I stop, because I do not want this video to be another 40-minute ramble like the previous takes that I kind of deleted because I didn't want this to be super long. Anyhow, the devs already said that they're committed to make the game better and all that, and they already addressed a lot of the issues, saying that we know that we are having a lack of content, we know everyone's complaining about this. So honestly, we just gotta give them time. Anyways, I would love to know what you all think, so share them in the comments below and let's have a nice discussion. And with that, I hope you're all doing fantastically well, take care of yourself, and don't forget to smile, alright? I'll see you very, very soon. Soon meaning next year, because this is probably my last video of 2021, so I'll see you in 2022.